Welcome to Lesson 4-1, Dividing Multiples of 10 and 100. Our learning goal will be to use mental math strategies to easily divide multiples of 10 and 100 by a single digit. Our learning goals for the lesson will be to use mental math strategies to easily divide multiples of 10 and 100 by a single digit. To generate whole number quotients of whole numbers with up to 4-digit dividends and 2-digit divisors. To illustrate and explain a division problem by using equations, rectangular arrays, and/or area models. Vocabulary: dividend, the number that is being divided. Divisor, the number by which the dividend is being divided. And quotient, the answer to a division problem. Let's look at an example together. 81,000 divided by 9. It can also be written as 81,000 division sign 9. 81,000 is the dividend. 9 is the divisor. The answer will be the quotient. So let's take a minute to look at a couple different strategies that you can use while you work through your practice problem in today's lesson. Let's first use our knowledge of multiples to help us answer this question. If I know that 81 divided by 9 is 9, then I can also know that 810 divided by 9 gives us a quotient of 90. So that means 8,100 divided by 9 would give us a quotient of 900. So 81,000 divided by 9 would give us a quotient or answer of 9,000. I also want to remind you of a mental math multiplication strategy we use that we can also use for division. 81,000 divided by 9. We look at those digits that have value, and I know that 81 divided by 9 is 9, and then I can bring down all three of those zeros for a simple little mental math way of doing division. So here are two strategies that you can use in our lesson's practice problems. Okay, let's look at practice problem number 1. 6,400 divided by 8. Take a moment to work this on your own using one of the two strategies I just illustrated, and press play when you're ready to check your answer with mine. So I'm going to use my knowledge of multiples to help me answer this. I know that 64 divided by 8 is 8. So that lets me know, that, let's go down here and I'll use my eraser function here. Isn't that pretty cool? All right, now I'm ready to write again. So that, if we continue on with our knowledge of multiples to help us answer this, that helps me know that 640 divided by 8 gives me an answer or a quotient of 80. So that would mean 6,400 divided by 8 would be 800. So let's check our answer. Did you write 800? If you did, you got that correct. Okay, let's look at practice problem number 2. 72,000 divided by 8. So I know that 72 divided by 8 is 9. So if I use my knowledge of multiples, I know that 720 divided by 8 is 90. I know that 7,200 divided by 8 is 900. So that helps me know that 72,000 divided by 8 would give me an answer or quotient of 9,000. And this answer should be 9,000, not 900. Let's take a look at practice problem number 3. $240,000 divided by 3. Well, if I know that 24 divided by 3 is 8, then I use my knowledge of multiples to help me know that 240 divided by 3 is 80. 2,400 divided by 3 is 800. 24,000 divided by 3 is 8,000. So 240,000 divided by 3 would be 80,000. Let's use our other strategy that we use for mental multiplication for mental division problem solving here. So let's check it that way in case you use that strategy. So 240,000 divided by 3. I underline those digits that have value, which is 24, and 3 is what I have here. 24 divided by 3 is 8. And then I bring down all of my zeros, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, which would be 80. So you'd still get the same answer. Let's check it. Did you write 80? If you did, you got that correct. Sarah's Girl Scout troop had 1,200 boxes of Girl Scout cookies to sell. There are 12 girls in the troop. If they are each required to sell equal amounts of boxes, how many boxes of cookies must each girl sell? So we have a practice word problem tonight. So go ahead, take a moment to work this out. Make sure to label your answer since this is a word problem. And when you're ready to check, go ahead and press play. So let's use what we know and our strategy that we learned. I know 12 divided by 12 is 1. So if I use my knowledge of multiples, that would mean 120 divided by 12 is 10. So 1,200 divided by 12 would be 100. So my answer to this question of how many boxes of cookies each girl must sell, each girl would have to sell 100 boxes of cookies. If you got that correct, give yourself a pat on the back. Now it's time for our challenge problem. Mr. N bought 45,000 jelly beans to share with the 4 fifth grade teachers. As he walked down the hall to deliver the gift, he tripped and fell. The jelly beans went everywhere. Mrs. Dale and Mrs. Langford each picked up the amounts shown on the chart below. Mrs. Tim and Mrs. Heckenbach finally came out of their rooms to help. How many jelly beans did each of them pick up if they each picked up the same amount? So that's part A of the challenge problem. Make sure to answer that and to label. For part B, if the jelly beans are divided evenly between the 4 classes, how many jelly beans will each class get to eat? Remember to work both parts A and B and to label your answers. Be ready to check it tomorrow. Let's finish up. Please review your learning goals. Do you have the learning goals written in your journal? Do you have the vocabulary written in your journal? Also check to make sure you have all of the practice problems written in your journal, including the word problem. Do you have the challenge problem written in your journal? Be sure that you've answered both part A and part B and labeled your answers. You have now completed lesson 4-1. Have a great night and we'll see you in the morning.